So yesterday we discussed about the HANA, the differences between the HANA 1.0 and 2.0, and the sizing requirement, like how to calculate the RAM size, how to calculate the CPUs and all storage, all those things we discussed, right? We are in that discussion, software requirements and HANA hardware requirements. Why? Because HANA is a combination of software and hardware requirements as well. Why? Because HANA is a database. It's a business database. So if you are planning for HANA, we need to plan carefully. The HANA things we have to plan carefully. We have to plan it carefully. Plan it means, so here, uh, the sizing is very important. If you don't properly do the sizing, so you may face the performance issues in the future. That's why, so while doing the HANA installation, clearly we need to plan the how much RAM is required for your business data, how much CPU, how many CPUs are required, file systems, all those things we have to discuss. So HANA OS, Linux, or so anything is fine. HANA, like any OS, like not the any OS only, the SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux operating systems are required to install the HANA database. So SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux or so Red Hat Linux are, so we have to do the installation here, right? So SUSE Linux and Red Hat Linux are we have to do the, so for HANA installation we required to install the HANA database. So operating system is the SUSE Linux or Red Hat Linux is important here, right? So that is the one thing we required here. And one more thing is here. So RAM size calculation, we know we can use the quick sizer tool to calculate the how much RAM size is required. Otherwise, we can use the T-shirt sizing method. T-shirt, the sizing method. So method we can use it here. T-shirt, the sizing method we can use it here. T-shirt sizing method means small, so medium, then large, then extra large. So this one we can use it. Small means minimum 128 GB we required. Medium means it's a 256 GB we required. The large means the 512 GB RAM is required. Extra large means we have 1 TB RAM is required for HANA database. Is required for the HANA databases here. It is required for the HANA databases here, right? So this is the T-shirt sizing method here. So which means, so small is the 128 GB. So small, medium, large, how can we estimate means depends upon the your company size. Depends upon the your company size. It is a small company like 0 to 500, there is a small company, 501 to 1000, there is a medium size company. Depends upon the company size also we can plan the our RAM size. That method is called the T-shirt sizing method, right? The T-shirt we have the small, medium, large, extra large, there is the sizes, right? Same as like we can plan it blindly. Otherwise we can use the quick sizer tool, we can use it. Yesterday we have seen quick sizer tool, web based size tool we have used to calculate the HANA, right? Quick sizer tool we can use it here. So that is the RAM calculation. Suppose now CPU's calculation. CPU's wise, so normally this one we don't require. We don't need to bother about this one. Architects will do. In case you are the architect, they if the architect and they asked you, so then what is required here? So one physical CPU, PCPU, if it is the on-premises CPU, physical CPU, it will handle the 14 GB of RAM memory, 14 GB of RAM memory, it will handle it here. So one PCPU, physical CPU here, PCPU. So in the cloud side, the cloud concept side, so that is called the vCPU concept, virtual CPU concept, that will handle the 7 GB of so RAM memory here, RAM memory here, 7 GB of RAM memory here. RAM memory here, right? So that is what. So we have the calculations are there in the. So normally if it is the on-premise machine, we will use the physical CPU. Why? Because that physically it is available, we can see it. But in the cloud side, that is a virtual CPU. We cannot view that one. We cannot view that CPU here. That he is having the 7 GB of RAM memory only. Virtual CPU will handle the 7 GB of RAM memory only, which means suppose you got the RAM size like a 128 GB RAM size, your architect has to take it. Then based upon the RAM size, we can calculate the how many CPUs are required. Based upon the RAM size, you can calculate the how many CPUs you required. Right? Means 128 by 14 GB. 14. One CPU, 14 GB. Two CPUs, 28 GB. Instead of that, 128 by 14. How many CPUs will come? So let me calculate. So 128 divided by 14. Then 9 CPUs. 9. So CPUs we required. So 9 CPU cores we required. So to for 128 GB RAM, 9 CPU cores you required. Right? 9 you required. Right? 9 or 10. Minimum 9 is required here. To support the 128 GB RAM, so you require the 9 CPUs are required. With the 14 GB RAM, one CPU is enough. But that is the physical CPU. When it comes to the here, then when it comes to the cloud level, then 8 CPUs, 8 vCPUs, we have to choose it. Virtual CPUs. Right? Why? Because in the cloud level, one physical CPU, they will divide it into the two, means two virtual CPUs here. Two virtual CPUs equals to one physical CPU. That is the calculations in the cloud. If you are using the brand new hardware, brand new softwares from the Microsoft or GCP, Google Cloud, you may have to, the one CPU will support more RAM also. That average, if you calculate it, this much of calculations we have to do it here, right? So that much of calculations here, right? So that is fine. That is fine. The next one is the space. We got the RAM size, then CPUs, then how much disk storage is required, right? How much storage and file systems are required here. Space, storage means space, right? So here, as this is very important point here. This is the very important. So no one asks questions on the CPUs, RAMs, all those things here, but definitely you may get the question on the how many file systems, means how much space you required, or how many file systems you required for the HANA databases, separate mount points you required for HANA. Means C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, how we have the drives, same way we have the required things are there here. So how many we required here? So coming to the file systems here, root we required, like main file system root, this is we required. So minimum 10 GB free space is required. The minimum 10 GB free space is required here. The minimum 10 GB the free space we required here, right? Minimum 10 GB free space we required here, right? So that is the root file system. Then USR, SAP, we required the 50 GB free space is required. Then slash HANA data, we required 3 into RAM size, that much of space is required here. Space is required here. Then slash HANA, the log, we required the half by 2 of RAM size we required. Means, so half by 2 of RAM size we required, or the max 512 GB free space is required, right? So then slash HANA shared, that is also we require the 1 into RAM size, 1 into RAM size here. So 1 into, so 1 into that much of space we required here. Okay, that we required here. Okay, so that is the 3, 4, 5 file systems, mandatory file systems are required for the HANA DB. This is the one of the guarantee frequently asked question when you go for the interview, or when you go for the certifications, when you go for the anything, anywhere. This is one of the important FAQ. how many file systems we required for the HANA and what are the space calculations. Root minimum 10 GB free space. If you have the sir, root I will give the 1 terabyte, then what is the problem? No problem. If you have the money, then you can give the 1 terabyte, but minimum 10 GB free is required. Sir, 50 GB, I have the 60 GB, that's fine, right? 3 into RAM size. So here the space calculation also will come from the RAM size only. Space calculation also will come from the RAM size here, right? So the space calculations will come from the RAM size here, right? So space calculation will come from the RAM size. So everything will come based upon the RAM size. If you got the RAM size, then you will get the how many CPUs are required. If you know the RAM size, you will get the space requirement also here. Suppose like you got the RAM size like a 1 terabyte RAM you required, then 3 into 1 terabyte, then 3 TB space, then 3 terabyte, right? Then or 512 GB space here, then 3 tera, so 1 terabyte we required here, like so. Then how much? 60 GB, then 3 TB, 3.60, 3.60, then 3.670, 3.6, 3.670, then 4 point, like 4 terabyte, 700 GB we required for space. Suppose, right? Suppose like if your RAM size is the 1 terabyte, then so 3 terabyte, 1, 4 terabyte, 4.5, then 4.5 and 4.560 plus here 72, 4.572. That GB we required for the space, which means 4 TB you required for the space. If you have the 1 terabyte, you require the 4 TB space storage you required for the your so your OS level, this much of space you required for the HANA databases, right? This much of space you required for the HANA databases here. Got it? So this is the space calculation. How do we have to do it here? Sir, 4 terabyte means how much you segregate for each and everything, right? So like I will segregate like 10 GB for root, USRSA, 50 GB, 3 into RAM size for this one, log is this one, and 1 into RAM size for this one, like that I can segregate it here, right? So that is the, so one thing we have to do that one, that is the one thing we have to do that one here, right? So that is the calculations we have to so do that one, right? Root SRSAP slash and data slash and log slash and shade. This is the things we have to do that one. Okay, so that is the space calculations and everything for this one, right? So these are the so spaces, this much of storage space file systems we required, how many CPUs are required, how much RAM is required, then what is the OS. This all will comes under the hardware requirements. This all will comes under the hardware requirement section, right? Hardware requirement, these all the things are you required. Okay, hardware requirement, these all the things are you required for the to install the HANA database. These are the calculations we have to do it. So if it is our own practice systems, we can do it, install it, do it, install it, do it, install it. So that will not a bother. Why? Because we are not using for the real time and only training purpose. That is fine. But when it is going for the real time, their business data, their best is the banking business, their banking servers data, like our accounts, credit account, debit accounts, all these will be stored into the accounts here in the banking servers only, right? So that is the main important thing of the, so the sizing of the databases are very, very important. If the database down, SAP also will not function, right? DB is the very important for the applications. Why? Because all the data we stores in database only, right? These and all the hardware requirements. Software requirements very simple here. Softwares and all, software requirements and all, what we required, HANA installation we are doing, then we required the SAP HANA DB we required. Then SAP HANA client is required. So if you are using the additionally, optionally, if you want to use the any add-ons or plugins, you can install it. That is the additional functionalities. So normally DB client is fine. So if you want to add additional functionalities for your application, that time you need to install the add-ons and plugins. You have to install it. Add-ons and plugins, you have to install it here. That's what we have to do it in the systems. Okay, it is what we have to do it in the systems here. Software requirement section here, right? So that is the one thing here. On our DB, on our client, we have to do it. Software requirement section here. Okay, so because softwares and all is straightforward. HANA database we are installing, then database software is required and client is required to communicate to the database, and applications client is required, right? So add-ons or plugins are the additional functionalities. If you want to, if you have, then you can install it. If you don't have, then you don't need to. That's why it's a optional for the organizations, right? That is the based upon the requirement here, right? Main thing is the hardware requirements. In hardware requirement especially, so what are the mandatory file systems for the HANA database? Mandatory file systems for the HANA databases. Then you need to tell these 5 file systems you have to tell, right? What are the mandatory file systems means you need to explain these 5 types of file systems. If they ask you one more, how much space is required for the each and every storage means you need to explain root 10 GB, 50 GB, 3. These are the SAP standard recommendations. These all are the SAP, the standard recommendations which we have to install it, which we have to install it for the, so which we have to maintain, which we have to install it, which we have to inform to the your operating system to team to maintain the these formulas, right? So this is about the HANA software and hardware requirement section. So then after that, how to download the softwares, how to download the softwares and how to do the installations part here, right? That is the next one. But before next one, first of all, let me show you why, because few members are the new to SAP, new to here, then HANA, then they need to know what are the commands we have to use it here, right? So how to log into the our Linux systems. Everybody today you will get the gem servers today. You will get the all people will get the gem servers. In the gem servers, you have the putty, right? You have the putty icon is there. Normally, some basic things like a to Windows to connect to the Windows systems, we can use the so Windows, right? Mouse, everything will work here, right? Otherwise, to log into the server, you can go to the here. If the Windows server, we can use the MSDSC remote desktop server. You can provide the server name. You can log into the our servers. You can log in via remote. But to access the Linux box after login to the remote server, gem server, what you have to do here, just to open the putty. Putty is the tool to connect to the Linux operating systems, right? So normally putty tools for logging Linux. One is the putty, then Mobax term, and Mobax, and we have some other tools also available. Normally, more cases people will use the putty. Putty is the one of the OS 12 tool. We have to open the tool in the putty. Just provide the your host name, means your Linux operating system name. This is our SAP Linux 1 is our Linux operating system name here. So here you need to enter the your user ID and password. So I will share these details to everybody here. I will share these details to the everybody here. Okay, so that you can practice it. You can practice it here. So okay, so here let me increase the font. Windows. There is an appearance change. Okay, we are login as. So what is the user you want to log in as? Root, ROOT, root. Okay, enter. it is asking the password. Okay, it is asking the password. Then you can enter the password. See here, while I am typing here, the password will not be visible here. Normally, whenever you type it, password will be visible. But here in the Linux system side, password will be not be visible, but it will be written here. But when you click on the enter button, it will be authenticated. It will be authenticated here. So which means, so you can log into the Linux system. Just you can log into the Linux system here. So it will ask the user ID. Then you can provide the user ID. Root user, I will share it. Root user is like a administrator user in the Linux. Windows level, how the administrator is the super user. So here the root user is the super user here. Using the root user, we can log in. But don't think like password you are typing means it's not visible here. It's only is not visible status, but whatever you are typing here after the here, that will be typed here backend. Then click on the OK button, enter button. That will be so password. If the password is wrong, you will get the access denied. Then you can type the password once again. If it is the correct, then you will get to open the console button. Console option, it will be opened here. Okay, console option will be opened here. This is the Linux here. Okay, so this is the your Linux operating system. So here, what we have to do here, so we need to, so here in the Linux operating system here, so here how to operate the Linux operating system means commands. Using the commands, we have to operate it here. Using the commands, we have to do the operations. So what are the commands here? Right? Normally Windows, right click, left click, create folder, right click and click on the create folder, click on the create the text file, refresh, right click, double click it, install it, open it, all those things mouse will work. So you can operate it. So mouse is working, then you can operate it, whatever you want to do, you can operate it. But what about the Linux? Why? Because Linux is the one of the black screen here. So nothing works here. No mouse, left click, right click, nothing works here. Then, so we have to use the commands. So here you need to navigate, you need to practice some of the Linux commands. Some of the Linux commands, you need to practice it here. So what are those from frequently used commands? We have to, anyhow, I will share the details here. So here I will share the details. So here what we have to do. So then first of all, let's use the memory commands we'll discuss, like how to check the whether your operating system has free memory or not. Then you can use the free space -G. If you use it, it will tell you how much is the total memory. Mem means memory. Then what is the used one, right? What is the free one? You will get it out. What is the used one? What is the free memory? You will get what is the availability also. You will get it out here. Availability also, you will get it out here. Then if you want to check the file system status, you can use the display df-h. In the df-h, here you can see the how many file systems are there here. So root slash and data slash and log slash and so then how much is there? 294 GB here. What is the RAM size? 36 GB, right? So then how many CPUs are there? If you go to ls CPU, you can see the CPU command ls CPU. You have the one physical CPU, 4 CPUs are there. How many CPUs are there? 4 CPU cores are there here, right? Ours is the Intel CPUs, Intel Xenon CPUs here. Intel Xenon CPUs here to handle the load here we are using, right? For this Linux server, we have the 4 CPU cores. Then sockets are one socket. This is a CPU family actually. Okay, CPU calculation here, right? So here, what you are learning here. So some of the Linux commands like here. So free-G to check the memory status. ls CPU related things you can see it here. Then df-h, you can see the how many file systems are there, how much space is allocated each and everything we can see it in the df-h command. Then, so we want to create the folder, Windows level, we can right click and create the folder. But here you need to use the command, right? Suppose you need to use the commands here. Suppose you want to go to that one temp directory, go to the /temp, we have to use it. Then cd command means cd means change directory to go to the some other directories. So under cd command we have to use it here. ls command listing, ls means listing. Inside of the directory, how many folders and files are there? ls command, if you use it, it will display here. Otherwise, just you can use the ls-ltr. Means otherwise the data will be displayed here. Otherwise, the data will be displayed here. cd command is for suppose you want to go to the some other folder, then you can use it. You will go to the cd/media. Suppose you want to, so you want to create the folder. If you want to create the folder creation means what we have to do, we need to use the mkdir, make directory. That is called the folder or directory creation here. Folder or directory creation, we can do it using the mkdir, right? So mkdir, suppose you want to create the folder Ravi, then folder got create ls-ltr, then you see the folder got created. You want to go to this folder cd Ravi, then you went to the inside of the Ravi folder, right? Then pwd, present working directory. You are in the media. Under the media, you have the Ravi folder. If you check the date, you can check the date here, right? You want to type the users, how many users are login. Then four root user sessions are opened here. Four root user sessions are opened here, right? Four root user sessions are opened here, right? If we want to check the current date, we can check it out here. So that is what we can do it here. If you want to, so create the folder mkdir. You want to remove the folder rm space rf. So what is the folder name? Ravi folder. Then if you type the Ravi folder will be deleted. Ravi folder will be deleted here. ls-ltr. Then it will display the 0.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, that rm command is to for the remove and delete, but why it is used like rm hyphen rf?
I
Like,
will tell, yeah, I'm coming to that point only. Okay.
okay, okay.
So if you use rm minus rf means recursive forcefully it will remove the folder as well. Normally rm is remove. If you provide the file name, that file name will be deleted. Okay, suppose like let me create the empty file. So touch is the command to create the empty text file. We can use it just to touch, then file got created, text file got created, right? One text file got created in the Linux, right? So but file remove we can perform it using rm rf, that will be deleted. Do you want to delete regular file? Yes, that will be deleted. You can see file got deleted. So same as like I will create the folder instead of file, I will create the folder here. Folder created. Now you use the rm with just use the folder, that won't delete. It is a directory. So in this case, what you have to do, rm minus rf recursive force. If you are deleting the folders or file folders, or if you're deleting the folders or directories, you can use the rm minus rf folder, that will be deleted. See, immediately without asking anything confirmation, forcefully it is deleting, so see here it is got deleted. So rm command, just only rm, it is only files will be deleted. You want to delete some files, will not be deleted. If you want to delete that one forcefully, then you can use the -rf, the argument you can use it, we can delete it. So completely that is the one thing here. So that is the present working directory. So make directory, folder creation. So that is the folder creation, mkdir, then rm command, remove command, cpu free space. Then so how to check the file system free space or not, df-h, simple. It will get what is the used percentage, only 70% is used. Available 84 GB is available. Fine. Nothing is after the 100% or 0 or 99%, right? All you have the enough space. That's good. So top command, POP top command to check the live utilization, to check the live CPU memory utilizations, everything. Which process is using the most, all those things we can use it here, right? Suppose you can see what is the user, then how much CPU it is using, 22 percentage. HD6 area 21 percentage, means it's fluctuating. See here CPU utilization is getting fluctuating here. What is the process it is using, how much time it is using, right? Just to, if you come out of the screen, just type the control C. In the Linux Windows level, control C means copy. Here control C means cancel. Okay, control C means cancel here in the Linux level. Windows level, it is a copy. It is a copy, right? So then we can discuss, but not, but few members are new to HANA, right? What we will do, okay, let me pause it here. I think you can practice it today. Why? Because the law is HANA, right? So you need practice. You need to get some hands-on on the Linux environment side. Otherwise, we cannot practice on installation as well. You may face the difficulties for installation as well here. So that is the main thing here. So shall I stop it here? Will you guys practice or shall I explain?
Yes, sir.
Yes means you guys will practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will share the document, anyhow, Linux comments document. You can practice it. Okay. Why? Because
Sir, share that root password also.
I will share it all the details in the who don't have the jump server details, who especially joined only HANA databases. I will share the, you can just share your IDs. I can create the one Excel. I can share with you. Just update your details in that Excel file. Okay. Update only who don't have access